Yeah, obviously you feel good coming off a game when you shoot 63% and shot the ball well from the three as well. But really pleased with the first 30 minutes of that game. Just our defensive intensity was really solid. I thought we got a little bored late, and then I thought our ball movement was very good. We exploited some opportunities to cut. We exploited some opportunities to post different guys, and then I thought that we weren't great, but we were really good on the glass in terms of limiting them to one shot, and then now it's a different animal in terms of Purdue. I think that it's such a unique situation to have a reigning National Player of the Year return. He's probably more dominant than he was last year, in my opinion. He's a guy that forces defenses to react to him, and everybody else gets to play off of him. Those two guards aren't freshmen anymore; they're sophomores. They've expanded their roles. They're playing a little freer. They've obviously seen a lot. They've been challenged with Maui, with a couple of neutral site games with Arizona and Alabama. So it's a well-tested team. Matt's a terrific coach. It's in their venue. But all that being said, doesn't mean we're going to show up and not compete, not fight, not be ready to play. So excited about the opportunity, and we'll 1 versus 9 and conference play is always a good thing when you get 2 top 10 teams to compete.
This team has seemingly not lost any confidence in the last 2 ball games. How have they done that?
They got a lot of confidence in themselves. They're old. They're mature. I think that we had a 1.43 OER, which was a season high against a team that last year led the Big Ten in defensive in all the defensive numbers. But again, it's IQ, it's feel. I think there's a lot of weapons, and I say that in terms of being able to shoot it, pass it, post it, drive it. We've seen Justin become quite an offensive threat. We saw Dane the game before. So it's developing, but it's confidence that those guys have in their abilities and then each other.
Certainly every game's the same, Brad, with your opponent, but playing number 1 obviously brings a little bit more for the fan base and an opportunity to play a number 1 team. Like, how do you approach that, knowing this is a good opportunity for you guys?
Yeah, we don't play it up as much as what maybe the fans and you all do. It is unique. I think you don't see it every day, and especially within conferences. But you know what you get every time you play Purdue. You get a well-coached team that's going to play exceptionally hard. This is a veteran team, but it's a game on Friday night in the middle of conference play, and both of us happen to be having really good seasons, and both of us are going to have games after this one. So it's important, and you want to go play, and you want to play well, we've got 17 or so more after this.
I know Zach's a 1 of 1. I've seen a lot of dominant bigs in this league, though, including when you had Kofi, Garza. How does Zach stack up to those guys? Or just what makes him so tough?
He's gotten so much better from his arrival, and that's a tribute to them. But you just don't see 7'4" and 300 pounds, and we had Big Kof, and Kof was 7 foot and 300, but it's amazing just what the extra 4 inches does. And Kofi was a dominant player in some different ways, but I think that in my time in college basketball, I've never seen a more dominant center.
A couple years ago, they called Kofi the most difficult guy to officiate. People hang on, people bounce off him. Is Zach pretty much the same way?
He can be. He can be. I think that I think you have to understand that how big he is. What his ability to draw fouls. He's become a very good free throw shooter. I think that I wish Kofi would have got some of the calls that he seems to be getting, but yeah, he's big, and because he's 7'4", I don't think you can just assume that he's getting fouled on every play. I think he's got to earn the right, but he does get fouled a lot. There's no doubt.
Does it trickle down from the NBA to college into like dunks and threes, like maybe the most efficient shots? But have you seen maybe an opportunity to exploit having guys that can do what they do in the mid-range? And it's kind of maybe a lost art in some places.
Absolutely, and I think that we're a team that likes the mismatch and the cross match, and I think that everybody who's done it to this point, we've been able to find a way to exploit it, whether it was putting centers on tie, whether it was cross matching 4s and 5s, whether it was playing to a switch. The mid-range game is definitely something that we've got some guys pretty good at, but it's also just the shots at the rim we're getting, and most of that becomes just simply finding a matchup we like and not overcomplicating things. So we'll continue to explore. We've got a wide variety of things we can do, but we do feel very strong about that in certain matchups.
Seems like a week or two ago we talked about Ty maybe getting more aggressive, looking to find his opportunities to score. It seems like that's starting to happen. Like, what's been behind maybe him building that confidence to take advantage of some of those opportunities?
Well, he's 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan. I mean, Ty was a high school center, and at different times, and he knows what he's doing down there. He's got great footwork. He's got great pivots. He can use either hand. He's very crafty. He's gained a ton of confidence because he's not afraid to get fouled anymore. He's stepping up, banging free throws, and he's so fast. He takes up space and creates angles, and he's an exceptionally good ball handler. And those are all things that he's able to exploit, and we want to exploit. We love it when he's wheeling and dealing in the paint.
What do you see from Coleman Hawkins? Seems like he's playing his best basketball of his career over the last few games.
Coleman's been phenomenal. He's kept the game very simple. He hasn't. He's shooting it at an elite rate. I want him to shoot every opportunity he gets. What he does defensively, what he does with the intangibles of the game, are so much more than what he brings and show up in a stat sheet. So, he's playing great, and he's going to continue to do that. And we keep growing our package with him, and he's doing a great job playing off these other guys right now.
You mentioned their guards aren't freshmen anymore. Where do you see them take the biggest leaps as sophomores now?
I think Matt trusts them. I think that Braden has become just a little, for lack of a better term, I don't know what the right word is. He's free. He's shooting it when he's open. Both of them have had huge nights in big games, and you know, he's kind of the head of the snake, so to speak. But they're playing a little faster. They're still running a million sets, and that's what they do. But you know, last year he might come off a ball screen and be open and be hesitant and looking to throw it to Zach. This year he's shooting it, and you know, he's gotten stronger. He's more active on the defensive side. He's just really developed into a really good college guard.
Brad, there's obviously a lot of outside noise about Terrence. Is that something you have to talk to the guys about in terms of blocking it out, or is it something that's kind of policing itself within the locker room?
Yeah, they handle themselves. They handle themselves, and you know, we're worried about Purdue. We're worried about the next game. I think that's the only way that we can handle things is that next game mentality. We've been very good about it to this point, and I love the maturity these guys are showing, in the togetherness and the connectivity that we've got. So it's all next game up. It's all Purdue today, and getting ready for tomorrow, and then, you know, whoever's in the next one, it'll be all about that. So, love their maturity.
You had a common opponent. Have you watched a lot of the film of their game against Northwestern? What could have happened with that game?
I actually got a couple. You know, Marquette was early, but yeah, you know, different games, just different. I think our styles are a little bit different, but you know, it's you know, the Marquette game was interesting. It was you know, kind of a free flowing, and Northwestern, Boo did what Boo does, but yeah. So I mean, we watch it, but every game's different. We're a little different than both of those teams. So we'll. There's no doubt you've got to play very well to beat Purdue and do it on their court.
Obligatory Nico question. What's his status for tomorrow? I mean, is the timeline will all become more clear? I know there's been scans here.
There's all kinds of scans now. It's just the back to play process that he's going through. And again, I think any time that, you know, we want to be very clear about a foot injury. You know, you don't rush that. You're not trying to be Superman and say, you know, I'm good. You want it to be 100% healthy, so there's no recurrence of an injury. So he's back to that process, and you know, when they all tell us he's good, he'll be in a uniform, and we hope that's sooner than later. But it will not be for tomorrow.
How was that process different with him, maybe than an older guy, since he hasn't had that experience on the court, if at all?
Yeah, I think it's more the individual, and what the individual can handle. I think the one thing that Nico's done is he's stayed very involved in practices with film. He's relentless. I think all of our recovery stuff here has helped expedite that process some. So, but he's a very mature freshman, and he's very basketball savvy. So I think all those things will help him in his return to play.
You talked about how competitive this team is since the summer. I'm sure they're excited to go compete against number one.
I would hope so. If they're not, we'll be in for a long night. Yeah, I think the one thing that we've taken a lot of pride in is being that very competitive, and I enjoy this team a great deal in practice because they compete. And it doesn't matter if they're shooting drills, it doesn't matter if it's one-on-ones, it doesn't matter. You know, yesterday after practice, we had a group stay and playing one-on-one and compete, and then, you know, the trash talk and the competing and the noise is fun to see because it's not every team has that, and you've got to go play very hard to win on the road in this league, and to do that you've got to compete and have an innate desire to want to win, and this group's got a lot of those qualities.
Brad, by design, you're not involved in the review process with Terrence, but have you been given an indication the conduct panel has ruled, or if they have a timeline for that?
Yeah, the one thing that think Josh made pretty clear was we'd let you guys know if there's any updates on any of that, so I'll stick to basketball and get ready for Purdue.
Justin's role has grown and grown. How is he relishing with, at least for the last 2 games, being what looks like a sixth man, the sixth man?
He's a good player, and I've said many times it just takes a little bit of time sometimes to transfer to find your way and to find your role and to find your niche. And I think the one thing that he's understanding, there's opportunities where they're at. I think he's made the jump from the level that he was at to the Big Ten level and high major level, and he's found out what he can do and can't do. And Justin is a really, really good offensive player, and he's gained my confidence, and we've started to see that. And I knew he was a tough guy and a guy that would guard and rebound and do those things, but he's been excellent on the offensive end as well.
Free throws were a concern earlier in the year. Is there something that you said to correct that? Just practice seemingly been fixed, Brad?
Get Marcus to the foul line. We shoot a lot. As a former player, you know how mental sometimes free throw shooting can be. It's not a physical thing sometimes. It's really a mental thing. Quincy was in here yesterday shooting a bunch of free throws because he was upset he missed the front end of a 1-on-1. And Coleman, he had a practice yesterday, same thing. He was mad because he missed. And so guys are taking pride in that. We do practice them a lot, but it's really a mental thing. And you get guys with confidence that can get to that foul line. Helps that percentage a lot.
Passing out of the post has been really good. Is that enhanced when you play a team with a dominant big man like Purdue?
Well, their tendency has been to double, so I hope so. I thought we did a great job against Northwestern. Not good, great job of handling, because they came from many different angles. They came from the low, they came from high, they came with the big. And when we did get trapped, there wasn't just panic. We split them, we stepped through. We found open guys, we found the cutters. I think that when the floor's open and spaced, it gives you those opportunities. But we got Luke on a cut, we got Quincy on a couple cuts, we got Justin on a cut. And all those things become really hard to guard when you got 2 guys around the ball in a post trap. So it's been a good thing. Yeah, it's been a good thing.
You mentioned that
This will be our last one here.
that Zach, he's more dominant this year than a year ago. In what ways has maybe he improved?
I think he's really, really comfortable with his teammates. I think that there was a reliance, and just as an observing coach, I think there was such a reliance on him last year to be the guy all the time. He still is that guy, but you see him almost playing better just because their other guys are doing more. And that's he's got a great ability to offensive rebound. He's they shoot a lot of short shots. Short shots equal short rebounds. He draws a ton of attention. I think he's become a better passer. I just don't think he's got a ton of weaknesses. And at 7'4", that's something that you're concerned about, because he elevates everybody else on the glass. He elevates those other foremen, the shooters, and it's just more comfort for him. I think I see his comfort as a player, those other guys.
Okay.
Thanks.